I forget that voice comes in now. Either way, hello. It's not too late to say Happy New Year. I literally feel like we have to January 31st, and that's the cutoff point before you just need to tell people hello, good morning, or like good evening, and just call it a day. But Happy New Year to everyone here tonight. I'm sure more folks will be joining in, but in the spirit of this being a true talk show, which is an hour, we're going to be in and out Oprah style. But for those of you who do not know, I am Sable B, founder and creator of Real Brown Girls, and my favorite talk show was Sally Jesse Raphael, and it took me a year, but I finally found the perfect red glasses. So everyone wanted to go home and watch Oprah, and I was like, Oprah's cool. But at that age, Oprah felt way too adult for me, and she wanted to talk about serious topics. Sally was fun. Ricky Lake was fun. So those were the two that I probably shouldn't have been watching, but there I was soaking in all of the talk show drama. So here we are, and I'm so excited for the first show of the year. It's really 2022, y'all, where we have someone, I know I say this every month, but I'm not lying when I do say this, who's just dope, okay? There's a lot of people pretending to be dope in this world. You can curate the most beautiful Instagram and pretend you're dope, and then you meet them in real life, and it's like, you're not whack. You're just not giving what your Instagram gives, okay? Beth Diana Smith, principal designer, gives what she gives online in real life. I love her story. I love the fact that she went from finance to interior design, which is just not something that you hear every day, especially at the level in which she's doing interior design now. She's been featured all over the place. We'd be here for a really long time if I wanted to list all the names, but I think it speaks to the integrity of her work. I told her, and I'm very serious about this, I got a whole savings account that's labeled Beth Design. Because as soon as I'm in my forever home, I was like, I can't be giving Beth my coins if I'm not in my forever home. But the minute I'm in my forever home, oh, I'm going to be like, so I can't do the whole house at one time. But we're going to start with the bedroom, and then we're going to go over to the living room, and then we're going to do our whole thing. Because there's no one I want touching my home. Well, besides, people I like who visit, other than Beth Diana Smith. So I sent out an email, and I basically said, are you ready to quit your job? And so many of you all replied, hell yeah. A couple of people replied, F yeah. And I was like, I feel you, because I curse too, as you can see. And the reason why I really, look, we got the comments. Yes, I just did that because, replay, we don't know which part will get edited. But the idea of going from what most people would consider a stable, solid career where you're moving up the ladder in corporate America, to leave that and then go to interior design. And it's not that there's anything wrong with interior design. It's just not a transition you see every day. I just wanted to throw that out there for those of you who are in this space. Like, if there's anyone who can talk about designing a career you love, pun intended, using the word design, it would absolutely be our guest tonight, Beth. I love saying I never say her whole name. I'm being dramatic tonight. Beth Diana Smith. So without further ado, welcome to the virtual stage. How are you?
Thank you, Sable, for such an entertaining introduction. I'm so happy to be here. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
How was your day? Let's start there.
I mean, you can only see what's behind me, but right now my desk is in chaos because I have a client's presentation tomorrow, and I always do like that final scrub and finishing touches and making sure it's perfect the night before. So today has been like phone on do not disturb, putting myself on the timer.
Sometimes you have to do that. And I get distracted easily. So I'm like, phone in another room. Only certain music can play because some music will just take me in a whole nother direction. So
right.
Must be focused. Tisha said the wallpaper is everything. Tisha, I don't think
Thank you.
I I sent out some pictures, but like I'm gonna send y'all everything because I don't think y'all understand the beauty in which Beth puts together. But take us back,
Oh,
take us
thank
back, take
you.
us back. First of all, how did you end up in finance? When you like career, you like money, you like numbers.
I knew I was going to be an accountant when I was in like elementary school, and it's weird and probably crazy because someone that I've pretty much known since pre-K said, "Oh my God, my dad found this video of us from like second or third grade graduation." You know, they always ask you, "Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up?" I was like, "An accountant." I don't know how. Then I went through this phase where I thought I was going to be a lawyer, and I was like, I can't do that because I'm a sap. Um, and I'd be bringing people out of jail if I thought they were innocent. So I was like, I can't go in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always been very like process driven. I like rules. It just came natural. And I was always really, really good with numbers, like always doing the math. So it just kind of gravitated in that direction because there was nothing else that interested me. And I was not a creative. I was not the kid who colored.
Mm-hmm.
I was the kid that organized their toy box. That is literally so sad. Who organized their toy box.
Kid. You need that kid.
Right. I was easy to deal with in that way. Like you didn't have to tell me to clean my room. I already did it, and I did it clockwise. Like there's a rhythm, and it's color coded. Right. Like there was always a system. So I just always assumed that I was going to be CFO one day, and I'm still surprised that that's not the path that I continued on.
How long? So, okay, a second grader is like, what, 6 years old, maybe, depending on birthday? So literally.
I don't even remember.
I think fourth grade is like 8 years old. 6, 7, depending on your birthday. So literally, baby Beth is like, I'm going to be an accountant when I grow up. And then baby Beth becomes teenager Beth, becomes college Beth, college graduate Beth, and now we're in finance. How long were we in finance before you were like, I don't want to be a CFO anymore?
Oh my God. So my first like full-time job, which was kind of like my last year of like undergrad, I must have been 22, about to turn 23. And I didn't leave finance until 2014. So I had been there for a long time. But I realized probably when I was, oh my God, maybe 2012, that I felt very uncertain. Even though I had already discovered that I loved interior design, even though at that point I had already started going to school nights and weekends for interior design. So I'd be one of those crazy people at 5 o'clock you see running through Grand Central train station, trying to get from my 9 to 5 job to my interior design school. I was doing all that, but I still wasn't sure. I thought it was going to be a fun side hustle because I really thought it was interesting. But surprisingly, not surprisingly, I like technical education. I like a book. So I just figured, oh, if you're gonna do something as a fun side hustle, you should go to school for it. That's so nonsensical now that I look back on it, but it just I think at the end of the day, the universe lined up. Like all the things happened to like put me on the path to like not be there. Like life happened. My boss was pissing me the hell off at my 9 to 5 job. Like all these things, and I really thought, all right, well maybe I'll still stay in corporate, but my last corporate job, I worked for Viacom, specifically MTV International, and Viacom had an interior design department because there's a department who designs like all our offices around the world. So I was like, oh, I could go over there with no interior design experience.
You were like, I'm gonna do a department move.
Right, that's what I really thought I was going to try to do, but the universe kept on saying corporate is not for you. And I don't know how many of you guys work in corporate, but sometimes corporate people, they can act like savages. Like
corporating.
Right. Like there's a lot of disgusting human beings in corporate. And it's kind of felt like why am I working with these people who I don't even like them as humans?
Mm-hmm.
And it's exhausting and I'm tired. And my office is no longer my office. My office is now becoming a therapy session where the other people who report to my boss are coming to me for help. Because at this point, I think I was the person who had been working under him the longest.
Longest.
Yeah, they were coming to me for advice. Like, the front of my office was like all glass. So it's not like I could hide. They didn't care if my door was closed. So people coming to you every day with like different drama or crying, it felt like very heavy. And I was like, all right, God, I get it. I gotta go. I absolutely have to leave.
So that period that I think the word you used is like uneasy or uncomfortable. I forget what you said, but from 2012 to 2014, was this the period of all the drama and you being like the office therapist, or were there other things happening where it was like, okay, I'm holding on, and eventually you were like, I'm letting go?
It was it was probably more than that. Like my mom had passed away in 2011 suddenly, and that was like a huge emotional shift
Yeah.
where I was just like, my mom was such a hard worker, and I guess I followed in her footsteps. So it's like we're always working. And I'm like, after she passed away, I'm like, you spent most of your life working and taking care of three damn kids. Like, is that's not what I wanted for myself. And I feel like her passing, me going to therapy for her passing, it was just kind of like, I don't want that existence. Like, I do not believe that God put me on planet Earth to be running your damn numbers and creating your presentations and for you to be getting on my nerves. It was just, that's not what I want for myself. And then that's when I kind of felt like God started like tapping me on the shoulder. And then it got to the point where the universe kept shifting, and then like the tap, I felt like God was mushing me in the head, like everything.
I tried to tap you, now I gotta mush
right. Right. And it was like that. Like I literally, my first class was January 2011. That was my first interior design class.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, I'm gonna get my feet wet. I'm gonna take one class for this semester and see how I feel. That class ended the middle of May of 2011. My mom passed away the end of that month. I took the summer off to like get my bearings.
Yeah.
And then I was taking two classes. So I was gone maybe all Saturday and Sunday, gone twice, 2 nights a week. And that would have been hard if my mother was still alive, because at the time I was my mother's primary caregiver. So I don't know if I would have carried that schedule
if she was still
yeah, it wouldn't have been feasible. Maybe a couple nights a week, but I wouldn't have been able to do that. So it's just like, all right, God, I don't know what you're trying to do. I don't like how you're trying to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But right, I don't like
doing things.
Right, but I don't necessarily like your method. So it was like all those types of things. Like if I try to do one thing, something else would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then something really disgusting happened at work between one of my peers and my boss's wife, because apparently some HR ain't HRing. So we were all within like international finance, and it got nasty, and I was just like,
layered. It sound layered.
Right. So I was just like, why am I here to be doing this? Like it was just all these things. And then I was like, I need to take a step back because I feel heavy, and I feel like God's mush is getting a little bit too strong for me right now. So I was like, I'm gonna take a staycation, and I had all these vacation days. So I was like, I'm gonna stay home for 2 weeks and just figure out, process whatever emotions that I'm going through.
Yeah.
And like the first few days, I felt so peaceful. And I said, oh, is this how people are supposed to feel? Right. Like not feeling stressed, not worried about other people's behavior all the time. And then by the end of that week, I was just like, maybe I shouldn't go back. But I was like, but if you leave now, you'll be foregoing your bonus, which was not easy to do. But the thought of going back and working through the end of the year to get to that bonus, I was just like, no, I'm going to end up on the news because I feel like I'm going to snap. Like, that's literally what I was telling my friends. They were like, no, you know, you should stay. You should do what do what you went to school for. And that was like quite a few people. Other people were like, nah, do what you want to do. And I realized that for the people who were telling me to stay and wait, when I said mentally and spiritually, I don't feel like I can survive around these people for another 6 months.
Yeah, it's like,
I was like, those are the
people. Yeah.
Right. Like,
we're not talking
those are the same people.
Half a year.
It's half a year. And if the pandemic or Omarion or whatever you want to call it right now, we've learned that life is short. And I realized that those same people told me that the same people who never do anything for themselves. Like, those are the same people miserable in their job 25 years later, or never take the leap, and are always telling you to do the rational thing. But like I said, I was just like, if anything, I had already learned a few years before, like, I'd have refused to believe that God put me on planet Earth to do anything less than greatness. And my greatness will not be in corporate. Like, that's not where my growth is going to be. So it's just like, I absolutely have to leave. So I came back and I gave my 2 weeks notice, and my boss was begging. No, it's budget season. I can't. I'm giving you 2 weeks.
Give me your number so I can convince you to stay.
Right. Even our COO was upset. Like, why are you leaving during budget season? I said, how many times have I gone to HR and had conversations with you about what has been happening here? About how my boss and my boss's wife, about my boss saying, well, he calls me Bethy. Bethy, I understand, but when I get home, I'm gonna be in big trouble. Like, hearing non-Black people in the office refer to actual Black people as that grumpy Black woman, like, talking about my coworkers. I've already done the things that I should have done, and because you didn't do what you were supposed to do, I'm leaving, and I'm absolutely not going to feel guilt because now I've set my boundaries, and now you have to take the consequences of your lack of action. It's not my problem. It's your problem. Right. Like,
that's when it's not even a meme, but the video from a few years ago, it's above me now.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Way, way above.
So you put in your 2 weeks. Did you immediately jump into, okay, I'm starting my own company, or did you give yourself a little sabbatical?
I registered to become a full-time student that fall, because at the time I think I had maybe like 4 or 5 classes left. I was like, become a full-time student, finish off your degree, and then you can jump in. That's exactly what I did. So my last day with corporate was like May 8th of 2014.
And then you finished up in the summer semester or the fall?
No, so I took 1 class during the summer,
and then the rest of
and then I did the rest in the fall, 4 or 5 classes. I took that summer, and I had the best summer of my life.
Ooh.
Like, I went like every day. It was just like, oh, I'm gonna have drinks with friends. I'm gonna have dinner with this friend. I have lunch with that friend. I have brunch with that friend. I was still going to the city twice a week because that's where my design school was. I felt like I was just living my best life that whole summer, and it was like, come fall, I'll be a student, I'll finish my degree. And then January of that 2015, I was like, oh, great, well, you are now a full-time entrepreneur. Let's figure this out.
Was there a moment rather that you sat down and you said, oh shit, I'm a full-time entrepreneur? Or did that moment never really like land on you? Because I feel like some people have these like aha moments months in, a year in. Some people feel that from the beginning, but like, did you have a moment, or were you, because the systems and the structure, you were like, no, I know what to do, and you just kind of like went with it?
I think I still have those moments
Ooh.
all the time where I'm just like, I can't believe that you left your six-figure salary, your health and benefits, your 401k, and your annual bonuses. Like leaving all those things because at the end of the day, oh, and my paid vacation and paid sick
The
days because an
PTO,
entrepreneur,
you don't have those.
like if I'm sick, that's a problem.
So nothing get done.
My vacation days ain't happening. To pay for your own health insurance is expensive. It's expensive. Like it's like a car note. It could be a car note.
And a sexy luxury vehicle top model. Like we're not even talking
right. It's not easy. I will say it's been easier since COVID because now they're giving, all these like deductions. So now, my health insurance per month is like, it's like less than $200. It's like amazing now.
That sounds
right. It's like way better. And oh God, I hope it stays like that longer.
Let's hold on. Lord, keep the health insurance of all of those who are so happy right now that it is cheaper the same. We come to you humbly tonight. Amen. Because it's wild. These figures are wild.
It's wild. And like knowing that there's not that guaranteed paycheck, like there's a level of comfort to know that no matter what you do, money will magically be here in your bank account every 2 weeks. And to not have that comfort still sometimes rattles me. Like I even have my panic number. If I see my business checking account go under a certain amount, I literally feel panic. Like, oh my God. Let me go into QuickBooks. Let me make sure like when I'm next expecting money. So I've learned to make sure I diversify my revenue, even as an interior designer, because now I'll do brand partnerships. I have my interior design revenue. And that's just like design fees. And then there's consultations and there's all these other things to make sure that my revenue is diversified. 2021 was my biggest revenue year. I'm happily back in the six figures, but it took me time to build it. One of my friends jokes and says I'm 18 and a half people because I'm always like chucking away at something. Yeah. Right. And I'm like, I was like, at the end of the day, when you don't have that comfort, because I do miss that comfort when I did, knowing that I wouldn't have that guaranteed paycheck, it's a different type of fire. It keeps me like,
you can't get too comfortable because
right, you can't get too comfortable. Like there always needs to be a cushion. So someone asked me, and I feel like I get this asked a lot, like how I get so much press. And I said, it's easy. I respond. So if someone sends me an email, I'm not going to ignore it. Sometimes I don't get right to it. Sometimes it can take me a couple of days. Even with clients in the contract, I have 24 to 48 hours to respond back to you. Like I will respond. And even if it's something I have to say no to, I always end it with like, but I hope to work with you in the future. Like building those relationships, still networking, right, has been super, super important to I feel like the growth and success of my business.
How would you rate like discipline for those who want to go from 9 to 5 to I'm doing my own thing, whether it's like freelancing, a full structure business, interior design, consult, like whatever it may be? Because I feel like social media glamorizes so much of like, quit your job, girl. And it's like, I mean, by all means, quit your job, but please don't think you get to quit your job and then things just like miraculously fall into place. It's like there's things to do. So I feel like discipline is important, but what else, if not discipline, would you rate as like, you need to pay attention to this, or you need to make sure you're doing this, XYZ?
Right. I think that's a great question because at the end of the day, social media is scripted reality. That's your highlight reel.
Hey, that's a teacher,
like of life.
Add t-shirt lines, and you can have a dope t-shirt design. Okay, let me focus. Continue.
I should put that on a t-shirt because it's so true. Like, even I don't share the moments where I'm like super frustrated and it's 12 o'clock and I'm at my computer and I didn't feel like brushing my teeth yet. Like, you're never going to see those moments ever. That's not a part of my brand. But that's the reality of sometimes that's the mood that I'm in. Sometimes I'm exhausted. Sometimes I went to bed at 3 and I just had to get up at 8 because I had something to do.
Mm-hmm.
Discipline has been everything. Like, when I went at the beginning and I said I had myself on a timer, when I feel like I'm doing something I technically don't feel like doing, it means that I'm easily going to be distracted. So I put my phone's timer on 30 minutes. I put on do not disturb, and I'm like, you don't do anything about this one thing that you have on your list. Lock in. And then I will keep on repeating that 30 minutes. And then I'll only take a break from it. I'll give myself 15 minutes. If I feel like I'm starting to feel a little cranky, or maybe I have to like get something to eat or get some water, I'll do that. And that's what today was. Like, you need to stay focused. You got things to do. So put myself on a timer. Kimberly Cummings.
What you mean get some water? You don't got a water bottle on your desk?
I have a
I understand getting food, but I'm like, what do you mean getting water? It should be right there.
It's like now, like, I redesigned my office a few months back. So now I have like a bar in my office.
Yeah, I did see that. I was right. Like, ooh, I like this idea.
Right. I'm like, I'm about to make a little vibe in here. But like, sometimes what I had to figure out was what are my triggers and what are my bad habits. And I will not drink water. I wouldn't even get up to go to the bathroom if I am in my zone, and I will stay there. And I'm like, this is a terrible, terrible habit. So now that also helps me, because I know when that ding ding happens, I'm like, is there anything you need to evaluate? Mm-hmm. Get up, get some water. If it's being will be here for a while, you can also pour yourself something stronger. I'll grab a snack. I'll do anything that I need to do, but it keeps me so much more focused. And it was Kimberly Brown of Manifest Yourself. She had put me on this thing, the productivity planner, and I'm on my like 3rd or 4th one. And this thing has transformed how I attack my day. And that's where I got the 30-minute, I think it's called Pomodoros. And Pomodoros are like
for it. Yeah.
Right. Those increments. And
it's impossible to just like sit for 3, like plan to sit for 3 hours. I think it does something to your brain. Or if it doesn't have an end time, it's just like, wait, so I'm just gonna be stuck here all day. And then you find ways to not do what you need to do. But you can process 15 minutes of focus, 20 minutes, like whatever it's a lot easier.
Right.
Like, oh, I can do 30.
Right.
It feels for 30.
Right. It feels feasible. I won't like go into my phone and be like, oh, what happened on Instagram? It's like all those little things. Right. That's why I was like, for me, I have to put like do not disturb on, like across all devices to make sure I can focus on the things that I need to do. Discipline is really, really important. In the beginning, I wasn't as disciplined as I should have been. Like, then I had a TV in my office.
Oh, that's dangerous.
And it was on this wall over. Let me tell you what I'd be doing all day. What happened? Like distracted all day. All day. So it was like little shifts. And I think the power is finding out what your weaknesses are and figure out what you need for your personality type to make sure that you can offset those things.
Yeah, I've had to disconnect my phone. Like, I have all Mac devices.
Same.
I purposefully did not get was it an Apple Watch? I was like, no.
Watch.
It can still send me messages. Nope. This is for my steps and my time and my heart rate, whatever else only. This is not for messages. And I don't have anything, no messages and WhatsApp, like none of that can pop up on my computer. because I like to talk. So I will quickly be like, oh, what's she saying? And the next thing you know, I'm deep into a conversation that's not even important. Like, it is not an important conversation. It is not an important topic. Someone saw a tweet, someone saw a meme, and somehow we deep dived into something else. 30 minutes is gone, just like that. And if that happens a few times a day, that's 3 hours, 2 hours just gone. So finally, I love that, like thinking about your personality type. How do you work? What distracts you? And trying to limit those. Like, don't starve yourself, but you got to be able to lock in. Okay.
Right.
Since you started, so 2014 to now, do you have a favorite moment in terms of like the entire journey thus far? And this could be press, this could be a client, this could be a personal moment, like you were just reveling in your amazing work, like whatever it is. Do you have a favorite moment?
Oh, that's a good question. Funny enough, not anymore. Because I remember this was maybe 2015, possibly even 2016. And which was like my first, 2015 would have been like my first full year of being a full-time entrepreneur. And I remember being in like Ebony Magazine or something with like a little tiny photo of myself.
It don't matter.
And like a little, right, it was Ebony. And it was like in print. I remember how excited I was. And maybe like a year ago I was talking to someone and I mentioned like something about that first press and like how excited I was. And now it's like, I don't want to say spoiled, but it's almost like spoiled because now I get so much press that sometimes I take those things for granted. So now I'm trying to be better at having gratitude at all the moments. So I feel like now all the moments just kind of morph together.
So what I hear you saying is we got to get you on like Ellen, or we got to get you on like bigger stages, and then one of those could become that's what I hear you saying. Okay, that,
or if I had like my dream client.
Ooh, who's your dream client? Or like, do you have a person as a dream client, or like a dream project?
I have 2 dream clients, and they are 2 very, very, very different people. If
we say who it is, does it like mess up the manifestation, or how does this work? Describe them. Hold it to your chest.
I would say that the first person is someone that we all call our forever first lady. That would be like, and she's and I can say it because I feel like what's for me is for me. So my first dream client is Michelle Obama because I feel like her style is very timeless.
It is.
And I like a lot of, right. And I like a lot of pattern and color, but she obviously is not like that. Like her style is more subdued. And I feel like that would be an amazing project because for the times where I want to do something more subdued in style, and when I say subdued, I don't mean boring. I mean like more neutral colors, like not as much pattern, but like very strategically dope all over. Yeah,
because every now and then she'll come out with some hot boots. And it's
right.
Like, oh, okay.
Right. So I feel like that's a dream client. And on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, because I feel like it would just be fun and over the top, is Cardi B.
That would be wild. That should be like an entire Bravo like short series, like how how they do like it's not going to be multiple seasons of it, but they do like the special like that deserves
limited series.
That deserves the 8-episode 5 minimum limited series, because I just want to watch you go back and forth with Cardi.
I love anyone who is honest and unapologetically themselves. So every time I think about her personality, I think about what that design would look like. So that's what those are like 2 of my dream clients. Now landing those 2, that would be a dream moment.
Can I get grandfathered into your rate now then? I can't have you getting them if my savings was just forever. Like one day, if I hit the lotto, because you know who her clients are now. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Oh man. Okay.
Oh my
Full-time entrepreneurship, quitting a full-time job, stable, original plan. Baby Beth wanted to be CFO. Grown Beth said Baby Beth was wrong. She was right at the time, but Baby Beth was a baby and she didn't know what she was talking about in the grand scheme of things. How do you plan for the year? Because, you know, when you think about, and in terms of like designing and making sure, you know, your year is how you want your year to look when you're reflecting at the end or even the very beginning of the new year. Because when you're in a 9 to 5, your manager sits you down and you might co-plan the year, or they might just tell you all the things that they need you to do because of, you know, greater business need and the company goals, blah, blah, blah. But like, when you're responsible for it, what does that like design and thought process and long-term planning look like now that it's all in your hands?
I think it's evolved a lot because in the beginning, it was all work goals. Like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
want to make this much revenue. I want this many clients. I want, to be in this magazine. And now my goals have evolved where I'm like, I don't care about the amount of clients per se.
Mm-hmm.
I care about the budget
Of the client.
per client,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how much revenue my company can bring in. And then I care about like what the wellness of Beth looks like for that year.
Mm-hmm.
And so now my goal is kind of more because I realize like if I'm tired,
Walk
I
off.
don't function well in exhaustion. Like my brain don't work. I make a lot of mistakes. I'm creatively not there, and I realize like if I want to be at my A game for every client, I have to take better care of myself. So my goals have been mixed, and then I also I look at my financials probably weekly. I
Mm-hmm.
go inside of QuickBooks and I look at my P&L as profit and loss statement. And I look at those things and I constantly adjust to say, do I want to see more of this type of revenue? Like for 2022, I know I wanted to grow my brand partnerships. For 2022, I promised my friends I would schedule a vacation. So it's like
I was gonna ask, I was gonna wait till you finish to go, is there a vacation in there?
there are two vacations, have not planned yet, but the goal is I would take two vacations. One where I just lay down and do nothing because I feel like mentally I just need that. And the other vacation is the vacation that I would want to take. Like I want to go and I want to explore and I
Like
want to like,
activities and being the maid.
right,
Yeah.
right. Like I want to see the architecture. Like I want to see those types of things. So I need both for me to feel like, I enjoy the best of both worlds.
Are those dates locked into your calendar?
They are not.
See,
They are not.
I, at least the first one, because I know how you operate, and it'll
I
look
know.
bleak, and it'll be May because time is disrespectful. Um, it's already
I
February
know.
essentially, so I just need you to, whether you want to do a 5-day lay, 3-day lay, 7-day lay, that's your ministry, but block it now before you end up with a client consult or an installation or just, photography for
I
the
know.
brand.
I know. It's definitely something that I try to, it's like almost something on my calendar. So the first of every month, I go back and I look to see like where I am in achieving those goals. I have to make sure that I address the vacation come February 1st.
Hold on. I'm making a note for myself to message or February 2nd. Just see. I'm dead serious. Text Beth. Vacay dates? Eyeball.
Vacated, right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Because Beth be Bethin.
I do. I feel like part of entrepreneurship that I think gave me a lot of unhealthier habits. Like I realized I already had these unhealthy habits,
Mm.
but now it's worse because now I'm hustling harder for my own business versus another company. And prioritizing self-care is something I'm trying to be much, much better at. Like, I wasn't taking days off. I'd be like, oh, but I got stuff to do. I'll just work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Unless I have like plans with my friends and I'm like, oh, then I could just get some work done. But it's a disgusting habit. Disgusting habit.
And it's so true. It's like, if you come from a place, wherever you work, where you already have bad habits, and no one's ever phrased it that way, it's almost unrealistic to expect that you quit and then you start your own thing, or even go to another place and miraculously, like, you're gonna have healthy habits. It's like, no, they're habits that is going to follow you.
It's literally like having a bad boyfriend.
Oh,
like, if he was a bad boyfriend, you know he's going to be a bad husband. Like,
you don't
the label don't change, the location don't change. Like, it's still a bad thing. So I feel like this has taught me to fix the things that I realized I should have fixed a long time ago. Like, reminding myself I'm not a robot, and that's always a struggle.
Especially because so many people expect you to be a robot. I literally was on Twitter maybe like an hour before, and I saw this tweet. I'm not going to read it out to you all because it was far too long, but I sent it to my friend. I was like, what is wrong with people? Basically, this white man was ranting about essentially sending someone your scheduling link, in short, is disrespectful, because basically you're not measuring the relationship and you don't have time to engage with them. And I was like, it's efficient. Why would I go back and forth with you 20 times via email when I can give you my link? And then if nothing truly works for you, then come to me, because scheduling links allow you to protect your time because you need to work. You can't always be on a call. And I'm like, people are strange in a land of people. So you have racism at work, Lord knows it's in corporate, sexism, all the things. And I think one thing that a lot of people think as well, like, bad habits won't follow you. It's like you now work for yourself and suddenly the isms are gone. How have you found yourself having to navigate that? And where has it shown up? Has it been easier? About the same? It depends. Obviously, there could be more control because you can decide not to work with a client, or like, not to partner with, a business or whatever. But this idea of like, if I was a Black woman in my 9 to 5, I'm still a Black woman running my business. And I'm still gonna have to navigate a couple things.
It's still like a level of misogyny all the time. There's still going to be, and there's still levels of racism all the time. Like, having to deal, I'll give you an example. I was dealing with a flooring guy. And I'm the type of person, I'm going to watch and wait. I'm going to see how you're going to act. So, because if I know you're going to act, if I know you're going to act a fool in front of me, I already know that I have to keep my eye on you. Because when I turn my back, you're going to continue it, or it's going to be even worse.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a very fine line between being a professional and not allowing someone to disrespect you because you're a woman, because you are Black, because anything other than non-white. Or some people are just really screwed up humans who just suffer from narcissism. Like, it's all of these things. So I've learned to just be very firm with my boundaries. Like, if I told you no, I told you no. And if I told you to do this, it means to do this. It wasn't a negotiation.
It wasn't a suggestion.
It wasn't a suggestion. Like, it wasn't a request. And I have it in writing. So I told you to do it and you ignored it. So you're going to have to fix it on your dime. And I've just learned to be like that. I realized I've been getting patience has never been one of my virtues. I'll say that. Right. But to learning how to curse someone out professionally
without the cuss
is a gift. Without the curse words, where it comes off very professional, I've learned to really try to perfect. Like everything needs to be in writing. And sometimes not because I don't trust you, maybe because 6 months from now, you may forget we had this conversation.
Yeah, and people truly don't remember.
They don't remember. And I'm like, that's cute. But here's what happened.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what? I have a current client. She tried to do this with me yesterday. And she sent me a text message. She was asking me something about her kitchen cabinets. And I said, yeah, but that wasn't in the scope. So then she sent me a screenshot. And I said, let me clarify. Kitchen cabinets is not in the scope. Please read what you just sent me. Because at this rate, I need to make sure I'm not tripping. I went and looked at the contract, I looked at everything. And I'm like, I don't think she was doing it out of malice. I do think she's one of those types of people who wants above and beyond, but doesn't want to pay for it.
And those people are everywhere. As
They're
someone who's
everywhere.
in business development, it's like, that's not what you paid for.
Right. And I'm like, maybe if I was a little bit younger in my career, or I had the time or the bandwidth,
maybe if you were Michelle Obama.
Maybe if you were Michelle Obama.
And it's still a maybe.
And it's still a maybe. I would do that, but what I've become really good at, and I'm gonna pat myself on the back for this one because I was not like this before, is every time I say no to you, it means I'm opening up the universe to grant me something that I want to say yes to. But I can't because I didn't said no to you for some BS that I didn't want to do in the first place.
Yeah.
So that power of saying no, I feel like I'm loving because it gives me so much more time to do the things that I want to do.
It creates capacity.
Yes, it creates capacity. Absolutely.
And I love that too. It's almost like if you learn to say no earlier, then you won't get stuck in a rut of doing things you might not want to do, because that's another trap that happens for folks that quit their 9-to-5s and start whatever. So desperate for money, you say yes to a bunch of things you don't like, and then you can end up just as miserable in your for entrepreneurship that you was in your full time. It's like, because you took them bad habits, you might not have felt like you could say no at work, and then you leave and you're still saying yes to everything. Oh, you know what, Beth?
Right.
This was great.
And you're teaching people to almost get used to undervalue you. So you want me to start you on this behavior where I'm going to constantly give you above and beyond for things you're not paying for. So then when I stop, it's going to be a harder blow. But it's my fault because I
stop. Yeah.
Right. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to give you my free time because I don't do that to other people. So why would I want you to do that for me? Not to mention power saying no.
You ain't got free time. You know, if I think about it, you don't even have free time to give.
No, I schedule everything. If my friends are like, let's have dinner, I'm like, okay, let me check the calendar.
Well, who at this age can have dinner and not check the calendar? Genuine.
Right.
Because where are we going to eat? What's the travel time? Is it 30 minutes for you, but an hour for we have to check the calendar.
We have to check the calendar. It's a part of adulting.
Calendar. I water my plants is in my everything is here, because if not, it's not going to happen, and I'm not going to show up if it's not there. Okay, so for those of you who do not know, I grew up in a Baptist church, and I'm convinced that every Baptist preacher, every sermon has 3 points. I visited enough churches, and every guest preacher, every guest church we went, there was always 3 points. Why am I saying this? Because now, Beth, I'm coming to you for your 3 points for the current congregation, and the congregation who will see this eventually later. Design a career that you love if you had to give folks 3 points, and it could be ones you've already said, doesn't have to be anything new, to stand by and to keep in mind as they go on this quest to find and to really dig into what they want to do and love to do versus what they've been doing, especially if you're in a space of feeling miserable and stuck, what would those 3 points be?
I would say probably number one is plan of attack. And plan of attack is, how are you going to sustain yourself for your first year? So that means you have to stack some money away. If you are single, obviously it's much easier because the only person you have to worry about is yourself. But if you have, a partner or kids or a family, then it's like you're also planning how to offset the impact to them. How are you going to take advantage of whatever your company has right now to set you up for that for that first year? Like that plan of attack is extremely important. And people usually say like save the first 6 months, like enough expenses. No, do it for the year. Do it for the year. I was
gonna say 6 months is not enough sometimes.
It's not.
Unless your network is so vast that as soon as you quit, you already have 30 clients lined up. 6 months don't last long.
Right. Especially because it's not consistent. That first check may come on January 1st. The second check may not come to February 15th. It's a roller coaster of cash flow, and you have to plan for that roller coaster of cash flow. My second thing would be, oh my God, please network. And I mean network from a place, I say this all the time, network from a place of giving and not a place of receiving. Like, how can you help someone else? Because that's what comes across as something genuine, where people would want to get to know you. The amount of people who hit me up who always want something, I'm like, for why? It's astronomical. I'm like, you're a stranger. I don't know you. Why would I be sending you X, Y, and Z? Right. And networking from that place of giving gives you the opportunity. I'm going to go back to the university, the opportunity to receive. Like, you don't know who's going to be in a room that's going to say your name, that's going to spread the word about you or your company, or whatever it is that you want to do. Even if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, let's say you want to go from, I don't know, nursing to cattle ranching. Like, you better meet you some cattle ranchers. I'm sure there's a Facebook group for that. It's like such opposites. Because there's something for everything. Like, network. And my third thing would be, I have to go back and say no. That power of no really transformed how I viewed things and how I viewed people. And not just saying no saying no because I feel like this thing gives no value, or I just don't have the time. Because I think a lot of people, especially women, because we are nurturers, we are going to say yes because we want to help.
Yeah.
And we'll say yes
to our detriment.
To pull the words right out of my mouth, exactly, to our detriment. And I had the terrible habit of like, oh, I'll do this thing for you. But now when I'm supposed to go do the things that I was supposed to do, now I'm the one up until midnight because I spent all day helping you. And I can't do that because I can't pour from an empty cup. Or sometimes I felt like I didn't gave you my damn cup, so I can't even refill it. So that power is so true. I done gave it all away. And sometimes like that power of saying no, it just aligns me in a better place. Like, will I say yes? And I still say yes to like my friends. Like if my friends need something, oh yeah, girl, what you need? Or yes, but give me a few days and I'll say,
like give me some time to.
Right. But I don't have to drop everything that I'm doing right now. Or sometimes I'm saying no, because guess what? I don't want to do it.
That part. Sometimes I'm like,
Yes.
why are you saying no? Because I don't want to do it.
Right.
And you can't make me.
And you can't make me do it. And for the people, and I feel like that goes into boundaries as well.
Yeah.
Like, if me saying no to you makes you upset,
That's not my problem.
it's not my problem. And sometimes people are upset not because you said no, just because they are not okay that you set this boundary with them.
And
that's a
boundary.
Right. And I'm like, okay, you're acting like a serial killer. And I don't want to be around you now anyway.
Now it really is a no because you're doing too much.
Yeah, because now you're scary. So it's like all of these things. So setting boundaries and no, I feel like are so heavily intertwined. So those would probably be my third thing. Oh, you know what? I would add a bonus fourth, and that would be show yourself some grace. Like, I make mistakes.
Panorama.
Right. Like, we're all going to make mistakes. I make them all the time, and I used to always beat myself up for it, but it's exhausting. So I'm showing myself grace, and I'm trying to show other people grace as well.
Hard part. It's like I'm figuring out how to show myself grace, but now I got to give it to others too.
Right. And sometimes that it's hard, but what I do know, like, if someone, the same way if I make a mistake, I want to be able to say I screwed up and I'm sorry. If the other person can do the same thing, then I'm like, yeah,
I gotta
girl,
give it to you. Yeah.
Right. Like we're good. Let's figure it out. So I feel like that just makes life a lot easier as well.
How do we stay connected to you? We're, of course, there's the Instagram, but the website, are there things happening? You got an event? Is there a showcase? Because I know there's I'm about to say festivals. I know there's the different showcases and things for the different designers. Like, basically, how do they get as obsessed with your work as I am, so they know either y'all are balling already, you can already just go ahead and book Beth opening, or you too will open the savings account. No judgment over here of your coin stackage. But how do we stay in touch?
I would say that I am most active on Instagram, even though I haven't been for the last couple of weeks. That's the way you know something's cooking, because I go like quiet because I get busy, but most active on Instagram. I always keep my website updated, especially on my press page. I'll constantly add like an article or a podcast or interview, something on there. But those are probably the two best places to find me and see what I'm up to.
Oh, last question before we leave, because you know talk shows we're in and out, and then we're gonna pretend the credits run. We know you're New Jersey based, but do you work with clients virtually across? So in case there's anyone who's in like Wisconsin somewhere who has the coin and is ready, would they be denied of your fabulousness?
They wouldn't. So I deal with clients kind of like one of three ways. I offer virtual consultations through The Expert, which is like a platform for virtual consultations for interior designers. And that can be accessed. That link is on the contact page on my website. Awesome. And then for full service clients, or for someone who wants an in-person consultation, I do travel. If someone wants to work with me as a full-time client, I will go, as long as your budget also includes those travel expenses. But I go where I need to be.
She said, pay first class, change forecast. Okay, let me. It has been an absolute joy, folks. I hope you can see why I love Beth so much as a human. But if you've stalked her IG at all, and if you've just looked at the wallpaper behind her, I'm not exaggerating when I say her work is amazing and beautiful. And I send it to as many people as I can and told them I am not sharing my bank account savings with you. I have prioritized room. I've informed my fiance. I was like, to be clear, I don't care where we live, it will be Beth. Okay, so have a
thank you.
Fantastic evening. Beth, eat some dinner. The rest of you eat some dinner. Hydrate. Have your water. We can't listen. It's a panorama. It's a Morion. I can't have y'all out there getting on that. Okay. Have a wonderful evening, and then I will see you next month. I should know the date, but at this moment, I am not that disciplined because my new year does not start to February 1st, but we already have the dates locked in for the February, the March, and the April talk show. So I will keep everyone posted. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Good night.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Let me hit. Wait, where's the stop? Here's the button.